Good morning, John Pricci. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rodger. Happy opening day to you. Congratulations on your 30th anniversary coming up next month. And, hey, Brady, how you doing?
Good, John. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, well, it's my pleasure, man.
Let's start, John. I said in the beginning of our show, last year we opened up and went, wow, we've got a Triple Crown winner. And American Pharoah may be here to run in the Travers Stakes at the end of the month. We'll see how that goes. And then that momentum just carried the entire meet. We don't have that this year, but it's still Saratoga. There's still a lot of good storylines. One of them comes up this weekend with Songbird, the undefeated 3-year-old filly, running in the Coaching Club American Oaks race. Look forward to that. But, John, let me ask you, I know the buzz of American Pharoah is not here this year, but there's still a lot of great headlines coming up this meet. You want to touch on some of what the headlines you think we will have here in this meet, beginning with opening day?
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I think on closing day, there'll be a lot of stories to talk about, Rodger. I mean, you hit on one of them, Songbird being in there Sunday, and, should she win and come out of the race okay and all that, we'll look forward to seeing her in the Alabama. And, of course, that's 10 furlongs, and stretching speed 10 furlongs is a whole other deal. Further, we don't have American Pharoah. That's true. And we don't have a 30-minute wait to get into the race course on a Friday morning to watch a horse work out. We don't have any of that. But I'll tell you what we got, Rodger. I mean, I think we're on track to get the Triple Crown winners all together in the Travers. We're talking, if everything goes well, Nyquist versus Exaggerator versus Creator. You've got a couple of others coming back in the Triple Crown. A gun runner who's been, a very big-time 3-year-old player this year. And I'm sure you're going to mention Chad Brown before this is all over. And he's got a horse that was on the Triple Crown trail called My Man Sam, who happens to be in tomorrow, by the way. And I guess if he passes that test, it'll be his first race since the Derby. If he passes that test, well, then we'll get to see him in the Travers, too. No, there's a lot to look forward to here.
Talking with John Pricci, our racing analyst on WNYT, back again with his best bet. John, I know you're good friends and you're close to Kieran McLaughlin, and we'll talk about Chad Brown and we'll talk about Todd Pletcher and the rest, and the jockey colony is phenomenal. But last night, the kickoff to this meet is held at Ciro's. It's a who's who. Mary Lou was there. John Hendrickson was there. It was a phenomenal night. It always is. Kieran McLaughlin was honored last night. Well deserved. He has MS, and that night last night, and the interview that we conducted with him, John, in the 11 o'clock sportscast, you could tell it meant a lot to him to be honored. Can you talk a little bit about Kieran McLaughlin and what he means to the thoroughbred industry? He is one of the bravest men I know. And it sounds a little trite to say, anyone who's fighting a disease. But you know what, Rodger? We're all human, and we all know what pain can do to a person. Well, his temperament has never changed. He's always been very level. He's always been very kind, with a smile on his face. And you watch him struggle sometimes. It was kind of tough seeing him this winter in Florida. It looked like this disease was starting to take more of a toll. And that part of it was tough to see. But it doesn't stop him. It doesn't affect him that way. I'm not surprised that he was honored in such a way. And and he trained a horse, Frosted, who, as you know, I chased all year trying to beat American Pharoah last year. Well, he finally did what, a lot of people thought he was capable of, including Richard Migliore. I know it's a big fan of Frosted, too. Well, that Met Mile on Belmont Stakes Day was one of the great performances of all time.
He's in great hands. The horse loves it in Saratoga. I mean, you know, he made the race last year when American Pharoah suffered his only defeat. It was Frosted who was really kind of responsible for setting the table for the winner. But I'm glad to hear everything went well. You know, I'm glad that Mary Lou was there. You can't have Saratoga without her. And John Henderson, we could get into that some other time. But his not being in Albany anymore is a real loss for our game. But I can understand his frustration when you bring somebody in as a consultant and you don't give them the time of day. Well, then there's nothing else to do but try to go at the problem another way.
We're talking with John Pricci here, our first guest, our first show, the opening day here in Saratoga. Rodger Wyland and Big Board Sports on 104.5 The Team. My partner, Brady Farkas, my producer, John, is going to hang for a couple of races today. Going to try to make this young lad some money and send him on his way to the weekend. He's going to Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame. He's a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan. How about the Schuylerville for the 2-year-old fillies? It's the 8th race today, and he can probably bet that before you leave.
Yes.
If not, you give me a couple bucks, I'll throw it down. Because that's where your best bet is today, John. I hope you get off to a good start. Talk about your pick, which is Platinum Spark, 7-2 morning line in the 2-year-old fillies, the Schuylerville, one of the traditional races on opening day every year.
And, Raj, I want every bit of that 7-2 because this is a very difficult race. You know, as you remember last year, Channel 13, you know, we had a pretty darn good year. I mean, almost 40% or whatever. And I feel like I'm putting some pressure on myself. So I said, well, gee, I have 2 feature races to choose from today, the Schuylerville and the Lake George. Let me find the most probable winner in one of those 2 races. And darn it, they both come up so tough. Platinum Spark, listen, I was very impressed. She's only run one time. It was at Belmont Park. I was very impressed by the debut in the professionalism that she showed. She was very push-button. She stalked the pace. She stalked a strong pace while in hand. And when Manny Franco pushed the button, the horse, the filly, was there. And went head-to-head with another rival throughout half the stretch, but then drew away and actually was opening up her margin as the wire came up. Now, the competition, as we said, very, very tough. There are 2 fillies in here that are just bullets out of the gate. Made Me Shiver, who won her only start at Churchill Downs, and the other filly is Lightning Dove, who was a very impressive debut winner at Keeneland, and then next time out she had trouble at the start, so she didn't get a chance to show her kind of speed. Well, I'm hoping that those 2 show the speed that they have, that Platinum Spark, who's been training unbelievably and is really nicely posted outside with Manny Franco, who's had a breakout season. He's a young rider with a future. Will be sitting a perfect trip. And the horses that'll be coming off the pace will be Platinum Spark and Olive Branch, and I'm just hoping that Platinum Spark is the better of the 2.
All right, well, Brady's going to be on it. I'll be on it. I always am on whatever your best bet is, so we've got you in the books for that pick in the Schuylerville. Look forward to that, John. Look forward to our next chat here on Big Board Sports. Thanks for a few minutes, and I know you'll be making your way to Saratoga the week of the Alabama, and I hope that Songbird gets it done on Sunday, and then we'll have another headline with Songbird running in the Alabama Stakes. She's going to be a big story up here.
She is going to be a big story up here, Roger. I mean, you know, there are a lot of people who think she is the best 3-year-old of any sex in this country this year, and Sunday will be just another step for her to take to prove that true.
John Pricci from WNYT Racing Analyst and with us here on Big Board Sports 104.5 The Team. Enjoy the rest of opening day, John, and we'll talk to you down the road.
You got it, Roger. Take care.